Hello.
Hello. Let's go right into it. We're gonna talk about Tenchi. Ben's here. Mike had to pull a rain check. Originally, CJM. This was gonna be about old school channels from when me and Mike were kids, with Ben adding his usual quippy commentary or whatever. But that did not happen. So we're gonna talk about Tenchi Muyo tonight. And original and what I mean is particularly like WGN. It's a Chicago station. I'm not sure if you ever heard of it, Ben. Have you ever heard of WGN in your neck
It's
of the
not ringing
woods?
any bells.
Huh?
It's not ringing any bells.
Okay. WGN was just pretty much a channel that you found randomly on like
Oh,
your
shit.
TV, pretty much.
Huh, all right.
And it just aired like anything that was airing at the Chicago station or whatever. And I actually
Cool.
liked it because sometimes you could watch the most random shows they aired when I was a kid, and to find out it's going to go away at this point from TV altogether, except for ones who live in Chicago, which lucky them. But I digress.
Yeah.
So next time we will talk about that with mixed '90s commentary with random shit as always. But yeah. But tonight, Tenchi Muyo. So Ben, what do you know about Tenchi Muyo series?
It's an anime from, I don't know, probably 80s or 90s.
'90s.
Um, Starts out like, I don't know, urban legend folklore for like 5 seconds and then rapidly moves into Star Wars lightsaber territory.
Yes. Now, did you? Now there are three specific series to the Tenchi Muyo franchise. Which one are you more familiar with?
I guess the one that was on Toonami when I was younger, but that's like I was young and I barely remember it. I have started watching it again since then, but that was a year or so ago, and I just stopped watching at some point.
So the three series linked to the Tenchi Muyo series is wherever you find the most interest, or I would say the most accurate, particularly the OVA, original video animation, called Tenchi Muyo Ryo-Ohki, which is pretty much the canon verse of the entire Tenchi Muyo series.
Hmm.
Tenchi Universe is a spin-off to Tenchi Muyo with a different continuity, as it were.
All right.
If Tenchi Muyo is more Ryoki is more exposition with like a lot of shit and background characters who are actually important to the main core of the story, then Tenchi Universe is pretty much relatively Star Wars. Because of the whole spaceship, they gotta get to Earth to get Ayeka back to Jirai because bureaucracy, politics, it doesn't matter, and a lot of shit happens in space.
Oh, okay.
And the slight continuity difference is instead, well, I guess we'll get there, but yeah, and the third series, which is really which is really panned by a lot of fans, some, but I enjoyed this one when I was a kid, even though it was totally goofy, was Tenchi in Tokyo, a different continuity with lamer animation but still okay prospect of Tenchi, regular student who is not, I repeat, not of Jirian descent in this incarnation. He's just a normal boy who is the grandson of a priest, and the girls come from space to make his life a living nightmare because they like him, and he's relatively kind of a pacifist in this version, and the only thing he gains is like a sword made of crystals that he gives to all the girls and everything, and it combines together to make a giant sword, which is kind of stupid. And he doesn't really do anything because I guess the monsters of the week per the episodes kind of stem with one of the girl characters defeating them or something, or with Tenchi's help for some odd reason. It's really weird.
I mean, if he doesn't have the force, then all of the girls would statistically be much stronger than him.
Particularly Ryoko, but then again, she's always the great. She's always the goat when it comes to power wise and what she can do.
Yeah.
And I
There
think
was
she's
like a
yeah, and I believe
there was
Ryoko.
like a trope talk about that on Overly Sarcastic. Technically, I guess it would be from TV tropes.
Ryoko was
That's what
mentioned.
makes her the no, but the concept of the like the not the main character, so usually isn't the strongest character, but is always stronger than everybody else for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
The trope is called the powerhouse.
Oh, so yeah, Ryoko is the powerhouse of that series, no matter what incarnation.
Thor from Marvel or Toph from Avatar.
So are we talking Toph as in physically stronger than Katara?
Like she seems like she could beat up Aang, even though Aang's the Avatar and protagonist.
Technically speaking, Toph could beat Aang because he is just too flighty for my taste.
So yeah, she's like stronger than the main character, even though she's technically not.
She has a little bit more of an edge compared to Aang and Katara,
Yeah.
but she's more funny. But she's also funny, which also adds to her great character. Next to Sokka, I think. And to go on a brief tangent about Avatar, which it's a good series, mind you. I did watch it like last year or two, and I enjoyed it. As much as I get why people love Katara because of the whole water bending, she can heal anything or whatever. To compare her to fucking Naruto, she's like Tsunade a little bit, kind of. And she can control water and becomes one of the strongest water benders in the entire series, etc., etc., etc. She's kind of she's kind of a bitch, kind of. Just a kind of. I mean, when Zuko was trying to, when Zuko was trying to like, be on the side of Aang and the others after what happened in the third series and everything, and he's just trying to do his destiny to help Aang. And Katara, with very good reason, she's like, if you even think about slipping up, I will kill you. She didn't say that. She said, I will just take care of you. And it was just so dark and everything. Like, damn, Katara. I get why he broke your heart or something, or he betrayed your trust, but damn. But I guess it's reasons, and they were able to patch things up with the whole I know who killed your father, I know who killed your mother, I'll take you out for revenge, and honestly, Aang was just wrong for saying you don't want to kill him. It'll taint your soul. And honestly, that's my mother, Aang. You don't understand anything. It's like you had parents. And she didn't say this. I'm just embellishing. But still,
I can imagine it.
I
I
mean,
didn't watch Avatar. I watched it when it was on Nickelodeon, but I didn't watch all of it, and that was also a bunch of years ago, so I forgot all of it.
I am so sorry if I spoiled some parts of Avatar
No,
for
you're
you.
fine. I kind of get it because I vaguely remember Katara being super preachy.
She, oh, the hope speeches and shit. I mean, there's this funny episode in the third season where they see like this actor trope just be them, but more exaggerated versions of them, and they each get a perspective on how they acted back in the beginning of the series compared to now. And there's just this weepy woman who plays Katara, and then she's like, "Oh, if we only have hope, hope will give us everything we need. Oh my God, we just need to have hope." And she's just crying, and it's fucking hilarious, really. And then Katara just says, I do not cry, Ben. That's not a thing. I mean, and do I really preach constantly to you guys? Well, Katara, Katara, honey, it's okay. Don't worry about it. So it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
It's a great episode for the third season. That's all I'm going to say. However, backing this up from the whole being strong thing, Tenchi and Tokyo, it's not the best season or series. It's wonky animation. The plot sucks, and even though there's this little lolly character named Yugi, I believe her name is, and it's revealed she's also from July, from the past and shit, and she landed on Earth because she created these horrible monsters by accident because she wanted friends. Gets totally persecuted by the Jawaiian government or whatever. Uh, she decides she randomly wakes up and just says, "I'm gonna get Tenchi" for some odd reason. I don't know why. I honestly forget it's been that long, and it's just stupid. And then she thought Sasami was a friend, and she is, but they have a falling out, and then I don't know. All the Tenchi family has to come back together again after being split apart. It's a thing, and it's interesting. I would say it's not bad, but it's all right. And in the end, you think Tenchi's gonna do something to Yugi. Like, is he gonna kill her? This little girl who's like 200 years old, and Tenchi's like 16 with a sword and everything. And all he does is he slaps her and just says, "You need to stop this. If you really wanted friends, you should have just come to my house. We would have accepted you." And she just, I don't know, she just says something, "I was so lonely." And everything kind of works out, and she gets like, and then Washer makes this little place for her where she can rest for like a long while. I don't know. She's just drained all her internal energy and shit. And the series ends with Sasami talking about the day, and Ryoko saying something like, "So that girl that she was kind of your girlfriend, which I'm really gonna ignore, uh, she was a shadow of Yugi. So does that basically mean that when she gets older, she'll look like Sakuya?" Tenchi doesn't answer. It's probably a possibility. And it looks like Ryoko's about to kiss Tenchi, and all the other girls interrupted because, of course, they are. And yeah, Tenchi in Tokyo sucks, but it's all right. I'd say it's watchable. And
I have no idea where you are on this.
okay, there are 3 series to Tenchi Muyo. I was
No,
talking.
like I have no idea if you like Tenchi in Tokyo or dislike it, or you think it's terrible, or you think it's okay.
I do not hate. I do not hate Tenchi. I'm looking at it in a hindsight. When I was a teen, I did continue liking it for the most part. I didn't dislike it in the least. In hindsight, I'd say it's kind of poor, but I
Yeah,
like
all
it.
right.
I don't hate it because I still can remember some points to it, which is just great, or at least fun or entertaining, I should say. So yeah, Tenchi Universe is more of a it's more Star Wars and more romantically driven compared to the OVA series, the canon verse, I'd say, because it's Ryoko Ayeka fighting for Tenchi's affections, and the other girls get randomly involved. Washu, Kione, Mahoshi, Sasami, and them going on a traipsing around the universe after our time travel episodes, which was interesting, mind you. And it just ends with finding out that Tenchi is a of Jawaiian descent for some. Yeah, Kagato attacks, kidnaps Sayaka. Ryoko goes on a whole binge of a big speech about "I can't live without you, Tenchi. You don't have to do this." And and somehow she kind of dies, or it looks like she died. And in the end, at the end of that series, Tenchi is able to defeat Kagato, kill him, and save Ayaka. And they all go about their separate ways. Tenchi goes back to Earth with his dad and grandpa. Ayaka is going to become true royalty of the branch for her family because, as it states in that series, she's only she was one of one branch of one main family. So it's very different compared to the OVA series, which is a stretch, but okay. And Mihoshi and Kione get promoted, and then the series ends with Ryoko coming back to Earth and saying that Ayake and the others are gonna come back because do you really think they're gonna let me have you, Tenchi? And yeah, and it just ends with just seeing Sasami learning Ayeke's going back to Earth and Sasami's going with her. And all the others are coming back to Earth, and then Ryoko ends the series with Tenchi. The carnival may come and go, but wait a while and it'll come back all to you, Tenchi. You know, Ryoko? I guess you're right. And that's how the series ends for Universe. So, Universe is less complicated, less story, it's less exposition driven compared to Tenchi Muyo Ryo-Ohki. Do you have any questions or any comments?
I totally zoned out trying to see if someone drew a picture that correlated what characters to what from Tenchi Muyo to Star Wars and missed everything about Tenchi Universe, and I'm sorry.
It's okay. Okay. Pretty much Tenchi's Luke, Ryoko could be Han Solo, Ayeka's Leia, Sasami could also be a Leia. There's this old Star Wars. There's this old cover on Tenchi Muyo VHS I have that kind of has a parody of the whole Return of the Jedi cover, but with the girl characters on it. Pretty much, it's pretty cool.
I think that's the first thing that showed up.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. Oh no, wait, Ayeka is supposed to be Vader in a way because of the whole helmet thing or something.
I get it.
Yeah, Mahoshi's Lando. Sasami's Princess Leia. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One other thing about Tenchi Universe, it's pretty popular in terms of there was one character which apparently everyone liked, and I do like her myself. But I grew to accept that it's a thing. Kione, Mahoshi's partner, she kind of became very popular in the universe because she's very confident compared to Mahoshi, and she's a cool character, long hair, beautiful, and she's a crack shot, and she's a great, but she has the worst luck in the universe, as she says. She's more of the human element compared to Mihoshi and Ayeka and Ryoko and Sasami and
Krillin.
Washu. Hmm?
Krillin.
Yeah, she's Krillin, but she's pop. I'd say she's more popular than Krillin.
People who know Krillin is the best.
Yes. And Kiona's just awesome all around. I believe she gets very big moment, a big status, big push in the first Tenchi Muyo movie, which is its own universe, which is its own kind of it's kind of its own it's kind of a sequel to the universe series, Tenchi Muyo in Love.
I thought of a thing.
Hmm?
I thought of a thing.
Go tell me.
Sorry, I was waiting for it, but it looked like we were moving on. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to say that I can understand why people would like that kind of character in Tenchi Muyo.
Yeah.
Someone who brings a humanistic edge to the setting, because the cast is made up of space princesses and space pirates and like mad geniuses who are goddesses. Maybe
Yes.
Is that a spoiler? Are we still trying to avoid spoilers?
I will be spoiling some parts of it, so it's fine.
Okay. I don't even know what that means. This is something that you told me. I haven't gotten that far.
Okay.
And space cops who are terrible at their jobs.
Yeah.
So I do understand how it would be appealing to be like that girl you were talking about shows up last, and everyone's like, "Oh, where?" And then she's like, "Oh, where did you been?" And she's like, "I took the bus." And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "The space bus." And he's like, "Oh, you don't have your own ship?" And she's like, "No, I'm not fucking rich."
That's Kione. But yeah, Kione is pretty relevant in the Tenchi Universe series and Tenchi in Tokyo, where she's just the added girl, and I like Kione. She's great. Oh, Kione gets a big push in the first Tenchi Muyo movie, which there are 3 movies, which is kind of out of continuity. But I think the first film is almost is a sequel to Tenchi Universe, I'd say, because of how it's all kind of linked in a weird way. And Tenchi Universe, I mean Tenchi the movie, it is anime Back to the Future kind of thing. It is just that.
Aren't you just like a parody of 80s sci-fi movies?
Something like that, yeah. Because they have to go to the past because something's happened to Tenchi's mother. So it's like almost it's
She
almost
even did she even show up in the OVA?
who?
And she's mom.
Well, that's the thing. Since it's like two different continuities, and I'd say Ryo-Ohki is like the original canon to everything. The character is pretty different compared to that, actually.
Hmm.
So in this continent I'm talking about in the universe, Tenchi's mother is named Ajika, and she is the daughter of Katsuhito, and something happened to her. Tenchi and the others have to. So Washu has a time machine, shockingly enough, or not shockingly enough, and all the girls and him have to go to the past and see what the fuck happened, because if Tenchi's gone, our fucking future is also fucked. Because there's this ripple reaction that if he's gone, everything is destroyed or something. That's really weird.
I mean, if he's gone, then I guess no one frees Ryoko.
Well, again, continuity difference. Ryoko's not some kind of sealed off demon. She's just a space pirate.
Also,
Yes.
it's like I don't have enough information I don't even know if I know what I'm talking about
Okay. Well,
because of how
that's
little I know about Tenchi.
what's fine.
But
Yeah.
if something bad happened to Tenchi's mom, isn't that Tenchi's grandpa's job to fix it back in when it was the present, so they don't have to go back in time? And if he fails, doesn't that mean that he also failed to protect his family originally when he left Jiraiya and everything was literally on fire? It's like this guy's starting to sound like a massive fuck up.
Again, you're. I believe you're getting too information. You're right, and you're right in this weird, convoluted way. You got it. And again, you're getting the two stories mixed in with one another, which is intriguing. But it's very like, again, that's why I said it's a separate continuity from what I am about to tell you.
All right, it just seems weird to me because in like from like Tenchi Muyo the OVA, the grandpa's like, "I'm raising you to be a good man, Tenchi, and you have to do this and this." And then he's like, "Okay, Grandpa, what did you do with your life? How did that work out?" And then he just gets quiet, and there's just like a picture of a bunch of stuff burning in the background as he flashes back to all the events of his life, and he's like, "Shut up, Tenchi! Keep fucking like sweeping my house."
Yes. Well, actually, I think I'll show you Tenchi Muyo the movie just to show it to you instead of telling. But I think it's a great movie. I'd say. But pretty much it's Back to the Future. It's 80s meets anime. It's great. I'd say it's the best Tenchi movie out of all the movies they ever made.
I'm just
Um,
imagining Tenchi on a hoverboard now.
oh, I wish there was a hoverboard. No, they go back to the 70s.
Hmm.
And it pretty much shows that Tenchi was probably born in the late 70s. And that's like kind of a thing that they don't do with anime characters anymore. They give you a specific date when they were born.
This person was born June 7th, XX.
I wish it said that. But yeah. He was born like in the late 70s at best, I believe, for Tenchi. And fun fact, like those Sailor Guardians, which I will talk to you about next time, it says that they were born in 1978.
Hmm.
It sucks. Same with the Monin Warriors, they were born in the late 70s.
Alright.
Early anime really just said these characters were born in the late 70s because of their age right now, as in when the anime is taking place in the like 80s or 90s. It sucks, man. And now it's like you really can't date this shit anymore. We could pretty much have like January 8th, but never the specific, but never the year. Never do the year. Just do the date. Don't do the year. Just don't date them, please. It just sucks. As we get older, as I'm getting older, it sucks ass, man. So because
Yeah.
the Silver Guardians and the Bone Warriors should be like 40 or 50.
I mean, there is the inverse
Yes.
where like I'm playing Kingdom Hearts 3 and I'm like, I used to be younger than Sora.
Uh, doesn't that suck when you're like kind of like relatively the same age or younger than Sora, and then as all the years went by, it's like God, I'm like old enough to be so old, Sora's older brother, or for me, I'm old enough to be his dad.
Yes. Didn't know they took 10 years to release that third game.
Honestly,
Sora only
I'd be a
grew up
parent to
like a
Riku.
couple weeks.
I wouldn't mind being a parent to Riku. I would just adopt Riku. Riku, you're with me. Come on. I can't have
You need help in your life, you sad boy.
exactly. I mean, Sora's another option, but he's happy enough. He's fine. He's got Donald and Goofy, his two big brothers. He's fine. And that man and that mom that we do not see still
That
to
is
this
sad.
day.
That gets brought up in Bird by Sleep.
Well, his dad was actually. And where did you see the damn dad? These parents are just, they exist, but it's like, damn, we don't have
It
any
is
information.
weird because like Riku and Sora are running to the boat and they're like, "Oh, my dad's here," and then it pans over to where the boats are docked and no one's there.
I mean, maybe he's on a distance. Maybe he's fishing. I don't know.
Sora's dad was lost at sea. Fucking, I don't know. Well, I guess 1 year ago because Sora would have to be old enough to remember, and Riku's just playing along that he's still there. Yeah, Sora, your dad's right over there, gonna take us home.
Well, the way he said it, he was talking to Terra, though.
Yeah,
So there was no reason for him to lie. So it's pretty much just
they
that
no, they
his
just
dad's
didn't
over
want Sora's
there.
dad over there because they didn't feel like drawing Sora's dad. Plus, if like there was an adult there and there was like a total stranger on the beach, I don't think like he would let him have a long conversation with Riku without coming over and being like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, true. You're not from the main island.
Yeah, Riku figured that out.
And he's 5.
Yep.
Damn, Riku. You great. Damn, Riku. You are so cool. No, you're great. Even as a 5-year-old kid who watches out for little Sora, who's just hyperactive and dumb, and then it's like I'm a surly 15-year-old whose wish became clouded by my own reasonings and everything, and become evil or dark and shit. One
Yeah, it's my
day,
job to protect you, Sora. I have a giant magic key that can save the world. Like, okay, if it's not my job to protect you, then who am I?
one day, one day once we finish majority of everything of Kingdom Hearts, we will do a big talk on Kingdom Hearts and our establishment of playing all the games together. We will
Yeah,
talk about it. Currently, we are on Birth by Sleep. We are on Terra's part, and I guess we're backtracking to get all the treasure now and leveling up because we are at that point. We're almost at the point of no return. I'd say.
we skipped 356 whatever days, and we skipped Decoded because they never got ported to the consoles. We're probably gonna skip Dark Road in the phone game, especially since the phone game no longer exists.
I mean, I showed you that video, that TikTok that apparently someone is like getting that dialogue or something video for it.
This is a good point.
Mm,
I guess we could watch the videos.
we could, but anyway, Tenchi. Sorry for the tangent. This will happen, but yeah. So Tenchi Universe is great in its own way. It's more
Yeah, you were talking about the first movie where it was Back to the Future.
yes, it's very the continuity for this series is simpler compared to the OVA. That's all I'm gonna say. One day or sometime, hopefully, which I will. I just gotta stop being lazy. I will somehow show. I will show my friend Ben the first Tenchi Muyo film.
Nice.
I mean, I think I have a port on my stupid laptop, so I can probably share the screen on Discord or something and let you watch it.
Yeah.
So that's going to be some time, along with a once upon a time talk will happen. We will just need to get through the first season, and we'll probably just do it by season, I guess, because I have so much words on Once Upon a Time, and I wish that it ended in a way that was a little bit more clean cut, I'd say.
Hmm.
But that's down the line. Anyway, back to Tenchi Muyo. So before we move on to the official OVA, to the official real canon story of Tenchi, any questions on universe that I might have missed or bypassed?
Nah.
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 All right. All right. Tenchi Muyo Ryo-Ohki is the tale of a 16-year-old kid, not 17, because I think he really is 16, not 17, boy who will become a man. Well, that was a
Going
stupid.
on 18.
This was the tagline when it, for some odd reason, aired on Toonami, which still baffles me to this day because that series should never have been ever put on TV because it was too edited down. And it was just it made oh god it really changed it really changed the generation for the worst or no for the best and worst like anything, but yeah.
It was the best of card games. It was the worst of card games.
Yeah, because the unfortunately Tenchi Muyo is a harem series, which is great. It's a good series overall, but due to the harem elements, everyone has their favorite girl, and I am guilty of this, really fight over who should Tenchi be
Should I made a joke about this, and it was like stepping on a landmine.
with. Yes. What did you remember what you said?
I don't know. I made a joke about liking Ryoko and shit talking Ayaka, and it was a bad time.
Okay, yeah. Okay, the shit talking Ayaka really did just. I have to come to defend my favorite character in that series for various reasons, which I will explain. But the shit talking of Ayaka was a big thing in Tenchi Muyo fandom of the 90s and 2000s. Because it was always Tenchi likes Ryoko, Ryoko likes Tenchi, she has the strongest feelings for Tenchi, blah 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 blah. And Ayaka, no one liked Ayaka because she was either too prissy, that princess, she was selfish, yada 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 yada. Like we never heard this shit before. And some people said that, well, Sasami's gonna be married to Tenchi because he can have two wives, Ryoko and Sasami, when she turned into Shinami. And God, no one ever talked about fucking Washer much, and Mahoshi, God bless her. God, she just gets taken out of the woodwork too. No one really appreciated Mahoshi. God damn it. And I'm thinking about my feelings that I have never really gotten over with until I'd say recently. It just brings back memories, and it's like, this was my dark period of being an anime fan. Because I felt like I was alone and liking and enjoying Ayaka. It was so dark. God damn it. It was.
Yeah, it is annoying when there's like a mass appeal of an opinion that makes you feel like, am I crazy?
Actually, I'm you when it comes to Terra or Riku? No. I'm you when it comes to like the whole liking Terra factor, I say.
Yeah,
Because
because like
I
it's
have shit.
overwhelmingly like people like to say the same thing because I don't know. So a lot of people like to think the same thing. I don't know
Yes.
that's true, but it seems true.
Actually, it does. Remember that whole thing with the whole stupid Sakura Haruno hate on Naruto?
Yeah.
And how everyone under Toonami that back in the commentary days, they just hate on that character incessantly. They said the same thing.
Yeah.
It was obnoxious.
Weird, like, groupthink things.
Like, what the fuck did this character? What did she fuck you in your sleep? What the fuck did she do to you? Whatever. Anyway, but yeah, it was that mindset, and so so pretty much when it comes to a harem, any harem anime, it always turns out to who will the main character ever pick. The thing with harems, though, it's relatively always left open ended. Like he never really picks anyone, and they just still go about their usual days of pining for one another or whatever. I'd say, and the Tenchi Muyo fandom is very guilty of that. Really, I mean, there was only so much information we had in the 90s. We had no idea that this was more of an expansive worldview to the whole Tenchi story that we ever thought of until much later in our lives. And it's pretty much changed at this point. And it's like, and now that we have an answer, which I would have, I mean, which is great for me, which is great. I'd say, I guess it was worth all the pain. I'd say in hindsight. And since I am older, I can appreciate characters like Ryoko, Washer, and Mahoshi more. And I still love Ayeka. She's great. And I guess I will kind of give explanation, not that I have to, but I want to why I like Ayeka so much. But anyway,
I
Tenchi.
would first like to give explanation that as far as when I was talking shit and when I was praising, I had literally no fucking skin in the game. I was just bored. Like, literally, the only thing that I was joking about is, like, I like that Ryoko is direct and actually says, I like you, let's go out on a date. And I don't like that Ayeka is constantly trying to shut her down because that seems kind of unhealthy. It's like, oh, I want that relationship, so I'm going to sabotage it so I can have it. And I'm like, just ask him out. He'd probably just do the same thing he does to Ryoko and freak out and not say anything. But at least then you like have a piece on the board.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the whole.
So yeah, that was my whole joke.
Yeah. The characterization of Ayeka and Ryoko is like, I'm glad it kind of evolved from when it started to really just kind of shut everything down. That they all these characters, Ryoko, Ayeka, Sasami, Washu, Mahoshi, and eventually a character named Noike, they all come to become like one unit family kind of thing.
Actually, I was thinking about how like
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the words for this.
Okay.
Basically, like as far as me like criticizing Ayaka's behavior, if it was to be for something, it was probably I don't have good words for this. It was probably a show writing thing because it doesn't make sense how her actions would benefit her or Tenchi, but it makes sense that her actions with Ryoko make for good television.
Yes.
Yeah, they're entertaining, and it's like even though they don't make total logical sense, they're funny.
Yes. To
Okay,
us
there,
viewers
I said it.
watching it, yes.
Yeah. That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
So anyway, Tenchi is 16, not 17. Just this average normal boy living in Japan with his dad, and pretty much one day he's like, it's summertime and he's like doing weird, he's doing like, yard work for his grandpa who works at a shrine, and he thinks it's totally stupid, and he wants to go into a cave and open something because why not? It's like the Boondocks. There's nothing to do. He somehow is able to get a key from Katsuhito, his grandfather, after some impressive movement from Katsuhito. And he gets the key. He's like happy and giddy, and I gotta abridge this. So, pretty much goes to the damn cave, finds a sword, breaks open a rock because it looks old and decrepit. The rock breaks. The cave opens. Tenchi's ass goes in, falls in, and then sees a mummy-like structure.
I think he broke the rock because he found the sword and it was just like he wanted it to be some sort of amazing samurai treasure, and when he pulls it out of the sheath or whatever, it's like rusted and cracked.
Yes.
And he's like, "Oh, it's a piece of shit." He smacks it against the rock, and the blade breaks into a million pieces. And he's like, "Oh, cool! My grandfather's going to kill me."
Exactly. Then he falls into the pit or whatever, slides down literally, and then he sees like a structure of someone being buried there. And it's this old, withered, mummy like body.
He really wants to touch his ankles.
Yes, and then somehow caress his face. And it freaks Tenchi out. He runs away, and he's able to tie up the stone that he broke, and just hightails it out of there, pretend it never happened. Like, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. I'm going back home today. It's fine. And then something mysterious. Then a mysterious light pours out of the place he left, and then it's the light somehow starts interacting with a giant ass tree. We'll get there. What that tree's significance is.
If that thing crawls out of the cave and kills my grandfather, it's on him for demanding I stay with him this summer.
Exactly. So Tenchi goes back to school, and it doesn't really matter because this is like it doesn't matter what his school life at this point. It really doesn't. He goes under the roof after beating up his friend for telling him he shagged some kind of mummy or whatever. I don't know. And then goes to sleep. It's the nighttime. I guess you can do that in Japan in the 90s. Just somehow skip class and go to the roof with no one really caring what the fuck you're doing. I wish we could do that in America. We can't. We get in trouble. It always seems anime schools can do whatever the fuck they want. The school council rules everything over teachers. It's like some kind of Lord of the Flies thing. It's awesome.
It doesn't happen in anime a lot.
We, the student council, will declare you are not allowed to do this, this, or this. And it's always the proper ones. It's always some dude or douchey chick and everything who declares such nonsense. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Pretty much, the school gets blown to Kingdom Come because Ryoko finds Tenchi. How? Who knows? And she just gives him his name. She gives her her name, and she starts chasing him. Or as it later stated from her, she was having fun. She wanted to play with Tenchi. So,
like a cat playing with something I'm going to murder.
Yes, and in terms of play, the chick's flying around and she can fire a laser energy blast from her hands and phases through walls and all that, and somehow is able to like I don't know. She has a lot of abilities and it freaks out Tenchi. So he's trying to escape and she's just being girly with him.
I don't even remember what happens, but I'm betting it's a gas line.
Yes. The school is getting destroyed by the destructions being brought by Ryoko and Tenchi running away from her constantly. And she just says,
I guess she just shoots energy balls around the school and that blows it up. That would actually make sense too.
Yes, her power, yeah. The gas line breaks, and then Tenchi's able to escape her by saying, "Look over there!" And since she's very naive, because she never heard this joke before, she gets caught. He runs away, goes to his class, grabs the damn sword that he got, the handle of the sword, right, with 3 gems on the handle, mind you. He continues running off from her, and then she finds him, blows up the school more, and then she finally has him in her clutches. And then she says, "This is not going to hurt much," and then she slashes him with her lightsaber. I'm sorry, I'm calling it that. She can also.
It's a lightsaber.
Yes, she can also use her energy abilities to create a lightsaber. She can turn it into a sword, pretty much, a sword construction. So that's what makes Ryoko cool. She can do all this shit. It's awesome to see. And then Tenchi is somehow able to activate the Master Key, or the sword known as Tenchi as well. And it also has a lightsaber, energy blade, lightsaber. It's all Star Warsy at times.
That one's a literal lightsaber because it actually has a physical hilt, while Ryoko's is just like, I don't know, a laser that she's holding and not hurting herself somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe it like separates around her hand, so there's like a back part that's little and a front part that's big.
Yeah, that little. Well, I think it's just her holding it. You know, she actually squeezes the orb in her hands to form a handle, as it were.
I wonder how that doesn't hurt her.
Oh well, it's her power, so of course it's not going to hurt her.
Eh,
We'll get there, hopefully. Anyway, pretty much, then Tenchi actually is able to get a good couple of slashes at her, because apparently Tenchi's a good sword fighter, or at least he's learning how to use a sword. How? His grandfather
probably
taught him. Why? We'll get there.
reasons.
There are reasons to this madness. So pretty much, Tenchi says something, calls him a monster.
Also,
Oh,
I
yes,
don't know that much about the series.
yeah.
I'm going to take a shot in the dark based on what you told me.
Hmm.
Uh, his grandfather is grooming Tenchi for some kind. Oh wait, never mind. I was about to ask a question, but I just answered it.
Okay, cool. We'll get there though. I'm trying not to go beat by beat, but so pretty much, couple of good slashes to hits. Tenchi calls Ryoko a monster. She freaks out like saying, "I'm a girl, you know. How dare you call me a monster? You fly through the air. You face through walls. You punch holes. You shoot energy blasts. That's not exactly a normal girl. All good points. I'm still gonna kick your ass." And then somehow she knocks something away. Then the sword, as if it has its own mind, pulls Tenchi to slash her left hand where the jewel she has attached to it you activate apparently uses it to activate her powers or whatever. He slashes it, and this tiny orb falls out and it makes a big explosion. And Tenchi's just so upset with himself that he had to do that to a pretty girl. But Ryoko is somehow able to regenerate her hand. And she pieces out. Tenchi's like clapping. And then the school explodes and Tenchi hightails it out of there because he will not be able to explain what the fuck happened. So bye bye school. It's no longer relevant. Tenchi's school days are over, effectively.
School have been blown to pieces.
Yeah. So pretty much he goes home and he thinks everything's done and over with, and then he goes to lay down, and Ryoko's in his bed.
I have forgiven you.
She
Cutting off
is
my
she
ass. Come
she
here.
she is just laying in his bed all chill, and he's like freaking out, makes an impossible face, the most impossible face of all anime, and that's where the story goes from there. Eventually, it's revealed that she was on the run from someone in the past or whatever, and a prince and Ayeka comes and with her little sister Sasami, because Ayeka's whole thing is she's looking for her brother Yosho, who chased after who chased after Ryoko in the past, 700 years ago, mind you.
Is that because space travel is realistic in this anime, or
Something like that. And apparently July is a couple of quadrants away. So it's probably a long trip, maybe. Who knows?
wait, that's probably the cryo sleep
Yes, Ayeka
concept?
and Sasami were in cryosleep. Yes. They were in cryosleep for 700 years. Ayeka is the beautiful first princess of July's royal family. Yes, that's a title. And Alan Sasami is the second princess of July's royal family. And pretty much, Ayeka is hooked on trying to get Ryoko to tell her what happened to her brother. Ryoko's pretty much all you need to know. That becomes a big thing for Ayeka in the first part of the series. She's just all hooked up on Yosho. Sasami's chill. Tenchi's trying to figure out what the fuck is going on here, and all this shit happens. And pretty much all you need to know, they wind up back on Earth, and Tenchi's house or whatever is kind of permanently stationed where Katsuhito's shrine is. So now Tenchi just lives near his grandfather's shrine with his dad, I guess, and these three girls who are now living with him. Any questions?
Do what's the what's the sister's name again?
Sasami?
Yeah, is she old enough to be mentally ready to agree to a 700-year cryo sleep trip?
Yes. She's actually very mature for her age.
You do realize everyone we know and love will be 700 years older than us, and we will not age.
The thing about July is all those people over there, they're pretty long living. They're all
I guess
old.
that would help.
They are all old, but they don't look it. They age very, very slowly, apparently.
Hmm.
I think it's really it really is baffling, that whole thing. But anyway,
How slowly does this race age, and how long do they live? Enough so that the cryo sleep isn't sad, okay?
exactly. So pretty much, Ayaka's on Earth. She can't deal with this because she just wants to get her. She want her ship. Her ship is actually a sentient kind of plant. It's a sentient being, actually. It's a second generation royal ship that is bequeathed to her when she went through a ceremony when she was old enough, pretty much. So she's literally bonded to this tree, which became a ship in her living quarters. The ship was destroyed when it was coming down to Earth's atmosphere with Ryo-Ohki. The core of it was saved, but not the entire ship, and it just leaves Ayaka totally distraught that the ship that she was bonded to, this tree, was destroyed. So, and she's just upset with Tenchi and Ryoko, and she just can't deal. And then a lot of shit happens between Tenchi and Ayaka for a minute because Ayaka says something like Tenchi's style of fighting is similar to her brother, and so she's about to ask Katsuhito a question, but he bypasses her and says, Tenchi, take care of this girl. I got shit to do. And then they have a little kind of like a 80s romantic moment and shit. It's very nice to see. And then Ayaka gets some answers about Yosho through that tree that Ryoko came out of, or that energy leaked out of, or whatever. She
Hmm.
she uses the master key, the sword handle, taps the tree, and says, "This tree is a living thing, literally. This was my brother's ship, and it took root on Earth. It shows it shows a bit of the past up between Ryoko and Yosho, and how Yosho was able to defeat Ryoko by taking the three gems that is embedded in the hilt of the sword, and he sealed Ryoko away. But we don't know what happened to Yosho, as you know. And then randomness happens, and now Eika's now pining for Tenchi a little bit, and Tenchi's very okay. Tenchi's relationship with all these girls are pretty much platonic. He will never decide to pull any shit as much as they're giving him so much affection and love. He deals with it. It's stupid, but yeah. Okay, he's pretty much a gentleman as best he can. He adores all the girls as family at first. That's all I'm gonna say. Any questions?
Didn't ever realize that thing about the tree ship. That would explain why Aika's so pissy all the time at the beginning of the series.
Yes, because it was destroyed, but the core. But okay, so pretty much I'm gonna bypass certain shit because I can't go through every single thing. So I'm gonna speed blitz this. Are you ready?
Sure.
Don't worry, I'll just try to explain the characters more in depth later. I don't want to make this a long video, but we are 54 minutes in. So I am so sorry.
It's fine.
Okay, so pretty much, Ryoko. No, Mahoshi comes in a little bit. Mahoshi comes in a little bit later in episode 4, and pretty much she crash lands on Earth as well, due to a fight between Ryoko and Ayaka, and a lot of shit goes down. Mahoshi winds up on Earth, and her ship's gone. It was sucked into a black hole due to reasons, and pretty much starts to become aware that there's a greater evil kind of approaching Earth, because some Ryoko's ship, it's a cabot, a cross between a rabbit and a cat, a cabot, pretty much the mascot of the
Hopefully living
series.
ships
Yeah,
seems pretty common in this series.
Ryo-Ohki is a female, and she does become the ship that Ryoko flies. It can reproduce itself. So she can never really die, per se. Or she can die, but since she reproduces herself, as long as her core survives, she'll be fine. She just goes
Ain't it
into
cruel?
Yes, she goes into into an egg or something, and then eventually it will hatch, and then she'll be reborn again. Ryoku's a badass ship, though. Anyway, Kagato comes, says, I want all the power in the universe, and that sword contains the key, and I also want something called Tsunami. And Tenchi, he pretty much, Kagato takes control of Ryoko, a fight happens, and it's revealed that Katsuhito, Tenchi's grandfather, is Yosho, but older. Shock, surprise, surprise. Ryoko gets captured by Kagato. Kagato says, "You must come to me if you want to save this inferior model that I created." Hint, hint. And then he pieces out. Tenchi says, "I don't want I want to save Ryoko, and I'm gonna protect these girls." Katsuhito just says, "All right, I'll give you this sword. Will you be able to kill him, destroy him, defeat him, whatever? Destiny's in your hands, Tenchi." And Ayeka's like, she's just so hesitant because all this information about Yosho being older now, he's an old man, and Tenchi, her feelings for Tenchi is conflicting, so she doesn't know what the fuck she wants to do. But she decides to go with Tenchi and Mahoshi. Sasami says she's gonna go, but they keep her on Earth because you're a little kid. What the fuck are you gonna do? So they go to space after a space battle, total Star Wars. Tenchi somehow dies. It's bonkers, really. Ryoko goes berserk, and then it's it's a very big moment actually for the characters when it comes to Tenchi dying for the first time. He gets blown up, really. Actually, it's very, very bad. It's like, wow, that happened. Our main character died. He tried to fight this big battleship. It did not work out in his favor. He's dead. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So Ryoko gets a big moment, teleports away, so she frees herself, and she just had to try hard.
Rescue Ryoko. Ryoko rescues herself. Everyone dies in the attempt.
So she just needed a big motivator to get her ass up and save herself. So she just says, "Tenchi!" And then she just sees the cloth that he left behind, and it's like full of blood. And then she just says, "I'm gonna kill you, Kagato, for taking the precious person in my entire life."
To be honest, it is heavily implied that Kagato's power over Ryoko is something akin to an abusive relationship.
It is, yes. And Ryoko winds up teleporting back to Ryo-Ohki, and Aika says, "Well, there you are. We have to go find Tenchi." And then she shows her the evidence, and then she's about to break down. And then Ryoko, in a surprising movement, I'd say, she has another earring with an orb in it, and she uses that to augment her powers or whatever she has, I guess. So she gets in her battle attire with Ayeka and Mahoshi. Yes, Mahoshi's there because she's a detective, mind you. She's a first detective of the Galaxy Police. How is that possible? Who knows?
How did Tenchi die but they live?
Huh?
How did Tenchi die but they live?
Okay, remember that whole Ayeka's ship, that core thingy? It survived. Ryo-Ohki merged with it as a ship, and in order for them to get any kind of attack on Kagato's ship, they have to access it. And since Ryoko's not there, no one knows how to pilot Ryo-Ohki. So the only way to get a battle, any kind of like laser functions or whatever, Tenchi had to go to the core, had to go to Ayeka's part of the ship. And he used the master key to control it because it's Jermaine, and he was able to get off of it. Pretty much, Kagato's ship was able to destroy that core of Ayeka's ship, as it were. Tenchi was in it.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah. So that happened. So Tenchi blew up with the ship.
And the Ika ship.
We'll get there. But yes. So pretty much they're all like fighting tooth and nail to get to Kagato. Mahoshi somehow winds up going into a reverse mirror world of the ship, follows Ayeka and Ryoko, but winds up in a different part of the ship itself. Ayeka and
Isn't that
Ryoko.
her thing, though?
Huh?
Isn't that her thing?
Yes. Ironically enough, I think that was actually Mahoshi's would-be luck telling her something.
Yeah.
Mahoshi is the luckiest person in the entire universe. Her luck is so strong that it somehow is able to manipulate the foundations of destiny, or at least get her to a point where she's needed, as it were. Anyway, the big battle happens. Ayeka gets knocked the fuck out, and Ryoko tries to deal with Kagato. He turns her into stone at first, and then Mahoshi is there on the flip side of the world and everything, and she's defeats these snake creatures, and she's able to like freeze it with like ice pellets or whatever. And then, as the snakes are about to escape, it seems like it seems how it's connected to what's cracking and some other characters' kind of containment or whatever. And then this character wakes up and is able to like stop whatever attack from killing Mahoshi, and Washu descends into the scene. And who is Washu? Washu is the smartest person in the entire universe, more or less. She's a scientific genius. Genius! As it were.
Yeah,
And
Ryoko's abusive boyfriend couldn't be better than her, so he just threw her in a fridge.
pretty much. And apparently Washu is actually Kagato's teacher, I think. That's how that relationship works out. And Washu apparently can do everything and anything, more or less, just like Ryoko. But since she prefers more science-related things, she doesn't really use those abilities much. She can, but she doesn't. She chooses not to. So pretty much with Washu, she's able to like free Ryoko from her petrification, and then she just reveals, I'm your mother, Ryoko. What do you mean you're my mom? I wasn't born for like 20,000 years ago. Wait, I was born 20,000 years ago? It's a weird thing. So pretty much Ryoko has to save Ayeka. Ayeka gets flung back onto Washu's side, and then as Ryoko's doing her best to defeat Kagato, she winds up getting her powers absorbed by Kagato's ship, which is absorbing all external sources to destroy the Earth.
Wait, why?
Out of spite, I guess. He
Gonna
wants
hold her on that bitch.
he wants the greatest power in the universe.
Oh, right. I only remember thinking when you said that was like, I desire the greatest power in the universe. It involves stealing your master key and gaining access to Tsunami. And I just imagine either Tenchi or his grandpa being like, you're asking for a lot of things I know nothing about. Now get the fuck out of my house.
Yes. So pretty much, Kagato wants Tsunami, the strongest power in the universe, apparently. So he's gonna blow the ship up just to spite Ayeka. Well, looks like I'm gonna be destroying Earth where your sister and brother are, Princess Ayeka. Ha 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 ha! No, Sasami, Yosho, or whatever. But Earth is protected by the 10 Lighthawk wings by Tsunami. And who is Tsunami? Well, let's flash back to a little girl named Sasami.
That character nobody remembered.
Sasami is actually pretty important because she senses something's wrong, that something happened to Tenchi. So she goes to the tree. That tree that's on the shrine or whatever. That tree in the water or whatever.
Isn't the tree a spaceship? Why didn't they use that spaceship instead of
It's root,
Ryo-Ohki?
it's
And
root, it's root, it took root. That's why.
I just feel like it would have really big guns at this point.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Sasami does this little chant thing and just disappears into the ether. And it's revealed that Tenchi is somehow alive, or he was revived by someone. He was revived by Tsunami. And Tsunami, who looks mysteriously like an adult Sasami, she just says that you survived, you're safe here, and she just gives Tenchi some advice about how to utilize his sleeping power or whatever he has or whatever. Tenchi says, "So where are we? We're in my mind. This is your ship. It's Sasami's ship." So it's kind of weird. Why is Sasami and Tsunami linked? We'll get there. But anyway, Sasami's so pretty much Tenchi materializes onto our plane of reality or whatever, and starts fighting Kagato after making sure Ryoko is safe.
Honest, also, you're here in my mind. So what happened? You blew up, and then I teleported you to a pocket dimension. Okay. So what am I gonna do though? I kind of got my ass kicked. Oh, you will access your secret giant powers where you won't even need the hilt to make a lightsaber anymore. You can just make your own lightsaber and your own spiffy armor.
Well, she doesn't really say all
Why
that.
didn't my grandpa tell me any of this before sending me off to my fate? I think he wanted you to die.
Well, she doesn't tell him all of that, but she just tells him. She just tells Tenchi to believe in his own power.
No, seriously, why didn't the old guy go?
This is something for Tenchi to handle, I guess. This was Tenchi's test.
He failed and died.
At first, but technically Tenchi.
But he's the protagonist, so he has 3 more lives.
Tenchi's the central character, the main character. I guess he was protected.
Yeah, with the strongest plot armor.
Yes, pretty much. But so pretty much Tenchi is able to somehow defeat Kagato when he taps into his real power, but he tosses away the sword, which uses external power. Kagato's ship, called the Somonga, absorbs all external power. Tenchi is cut off from his external power that's generated from the sword. So, he tosses the sword aside, and as Kagato fires a powerful blast at him, Tenchi somehow looks like he dies again. But apparently, Tenchi survived, and he was protected by something. Tenchi is able to activate the Light Hawk wings, his own Light Hawk wings. And it's shocking because any royal family of Jawai can only get, like, I believe they can only do that, depending, is if they're connected. Only first generation Jawaiian ships can generate a Light Hawk wing. Maybe 1 or 2 wings. But no one who physically has been able to do that physically like Tenchi can. He literally converted Light Hawk wings from nothing, based off his own power. So
His own power?
his own power, yes.
I was working on some sort of weird headcanon where if you said the Lighthawk wings belong to Tsunami.
Tsunami does have her own Light Hawk wings, but these are Tenchi's Light Hawk wings.
Okay. I was working on some weird headcanon where Tsunami decided to pick Tenchi as her champion or something, and Tenchi was a warlock. But that's not what's going on, so forget that.
Yeah, this is Tenchi's power, his own power, and he's able to kill Kagato with 1 slash, and it's cool display. So all the other girls are freed and are about to comfort Tenchi, or I guess hug him, but the ship gets cut apart, and Washu just declares nonchalantly, "Well, since the ship was connected to Kagato, of course, and since Tenchi slashed him, of course this would have happened." and the entire ship explodes.
Are there no normal ships in this universe?
I don't know. Well, they are. There are. They are. There
There
are.
have been like 5 ships in this series so far, and 4 out of 5 of them have been alive, and like 3 out of those 4 have been sentient. I don't know what happened to fucking Mihoshi's ship. Apparently it fell into a black hole somewhere, but maybe it had a name too, and a favorite pudding flavor.
What? No, it's a regular ship, but it's operated by a AI named Yukinojo.
So it was sentient too.
It's not sentient. It's a fucking robot. It's a computer. It's only a computer. Don't worry.
Alright.
But anyway, you would think that they all died from that explosion, but this is Tenchi, so they were able to somehow survive, get back on Earth, and then it's it's a couple of days later, and morning comes, and now Washu is living with everyone. So now we got the 5 girls: Ryoko Ayeka, Mahoshi Sasami, and Washu, and I guess Ryo-Ohki, if you want to count her. Life with Tenchi is gonna get very complicated, full of love, and anger, a lot of shit, but family. Now I'm going to bypass everything and just tell you that a lot of some stuff happens periodically in this series. From
I vaguely remembered you telling me that at this point in this series, it shifts gears from Star Wars sci-fi action to episodic psychological trauma exposition show.
Yes, the first 7 episodes are that. The last part of the series for the second OVA series, which is episodes 8 to 12, detail the episodic seriousness of what you just said.
This is also where I stopped watching.
Yeah. So pretty much you discover more about you discover a little bit about Washu's past and why she decides to take the form of a 12 or 13-year-old girl.
It's sad.
Yes, it is. You discover about Sasami and Tsunami's real link and why the fuck that shit happened. It's also very sad. Oh god, what was it? I would say something about the stupid baby episode, but again, that's part of Washu's thing. And actually, ironically enough, it's linked to the Masaki It's actually linked to something called the Masaki Village. And Tenchi's last name is Masaki. Get the hint? It's really weird.
And mayor?
Huh?
Tenchi is a mayor?
No, it's very weird. I will explain it, but it probably won't be in this part of the video.
Grandpa had like 100 kids.
Through yes.
Shit, really? You actually have a very large family, Tenchi. I chose you over everybody else. Why? No reason.
Yosho, technically, oh god, how does it go? The Masaki family.
If it hasn't become obvious, this is where I stopped watching the show, and now I really have no idea.
Yeah. Okay, so pretty much the Masaki. Oh god. The Masaki line on Earth is very convoluted, kind of, because Yosho. No, I believe it began with Yosho's dad, actually. I think.
Guten Tag, Tenchi. It is us, your European cousins.
Pretty much everyone in the Masaki residence are somehow related to the first Masaki line that began everything. I've been reading the novel series of it that detail everything that happened in the past before the main series to give you more exposition on it. I could go into it, I won't, but pretty much. Oh God, how does it go? Yosho is able to actually no. Yosho has no. How does it go? Was it Azusa that started No, it was Fanaho. God, I have to read those books. I have to read those stories again. Anyway, but pretty much all you need to know through Jorian shit nonsense of them living eternally and them sometimes coming to Earth for some odd reason, that it's all really mysteriously family linked.
Two things. One, so Joe, you honestly asking me to try and diagram my family tree? Yeah, Grandpa. Maybe you could do it on that tree. Points the giant spaceship. Looks over at it. That is not big enough.
Well, pretty much. So I can't even explain it. Everything is family related in the Tenchi Muyo Ryo-Ohki series. Everyone is family somehow, and it's not incestuous in a way because it's like generations upon generations of really mixed up shit.
Also, I could make a joke about fucking destroy all humans, but I don't think you'd get that reference.
I'm aware of the game.
Basically, the premise is that the the main characters are one of those alien races that relied on cloning, and then it destroyed their genetic code after a million or so years or whatever.
Oh.
And some of the archetypical members of their species who didn't rely on cloning and still didn't rely on cloning went and did some stuff on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, there were like traces of their genetic code in some people on Earth because some things happened.
Wow.
That's the joke I'm making about Tenchi.
Nice. Now, okay. Since it's
There was lots of booze involved. One thing led to another. Anyhow, there's some Jirians in certain pockets of the Earth.
only this one center, which is very heavily protected, and Earth is still an underdeveloped civilization that's still which is still going through shit. So
They're an underdeveloped nation. We're not supposed to have any interaction. Meanwhile, Jirian people get drunk and they are like, I'm Jirian, you can't tell me what the fuck to do.
pretty much, actually, you're right. And then there's also the fact that there's a Galaxy Police, which is its own little foundation of the universe, which is another center, which is interesting. So everyone, apparently, it's known that Earth is still an underdeveloped planet, which is still doing its own shit. So we cannot interact with this until they're ready, and they're not ready. So
Galaxy Police. No, you can't just interact with a planet that's not developed enough yet. Jirians, Lighthawk Wing go burr.
so pretty much, you're not wrong. But so pretty much the entire universe kind of knows about Earth or doesn't acknowledge Earth, and then when it's realized that there are some there's like this big center hold about Earth that's very strange. It becomes a thing. Bureaucracy starts becoming a factor in the Tenchi Muyo series, particularly in season and particularly in series 3 to 4, I'd say. No, series 3 to 5 actually.
Oh god, season 3 to 5 happens. The fucking grandpa's like, I see. Walks into the house, comes back out in a suit with a hat. Grandpa, where are you going? Goes up to the tree. To another planet where the bureaucrats will leave me the fuck alone, Tenchi. Why did you bring them here?
I wish you were. I really wish that was a joke. That does kind of happen, kind
of. I'm moving to Jupiter. Fuck you.
So pretty much we're done with that main story. There's like a lot of shit that's happened with the series, but anyway, what you need to know about Tenchi, the series is has a total of 5 series, and the Tenchi Muyo is not really action oriented. It is exposition driven, I'd say. It's not an action. But there are elements of action on certain things, and the fact that you see all these would-be characters who can have strange abilities, it is somewhat explained, especially Tenchi, and about what the fuck Washu is and why she has some kind of connection with some random goddess named Tokimi, which becomes a factor as well. Oh, right, I forgot. I forgot to mention Ryoko gets cloned. I forgot.
What?
Ryoko, she gets cloned. Someone from Washu's past wants to try to capture Washu. So in order to do that, he has his robot clone Ryoko and become her. And that becomes an asset in the latter part of the series of season 2, series 2.
Weird.
But the thing is, it was a complete copy, and Zero, the robot's name, who became Ryoko, Zero Ryoko, she somehow experiences love for the first time, being a humanoid being, and falls heavily in love with Tenchi.
Of course.
And the thing about this is Zero's feelings of that Ryoko has are Ryoko's true feelings for Tenchi. So, and since Zero is a robot who's never experienced it, she's pretty much just open to it. She's like expressing this love constantly, and it's very beautiful and tragic at the same time.
Doesn't Ryoko already do that?
Not so much because she's very blunt, as you said, but pretty much as Washu's able to put a ribbon on this by saying to Ryoko, Zero is your true feelings that you refuse to express. And then she just says, Ryoko, I won't force you to fuse with her if you don't want to. And Ryoko relents when she sees Zero Ryoko, and she just she just turns her head, and Washu just says, "Good girl." Damn you, Washu! I hate you for this. And so Zero and Ryoko merge into one being, and for a minute there, Ryoko's feelings are very, very wild. I think it's more of an honest love she has for Tenchi now. Like her love for Tenchi's like pure in the purest sense for a bit before she's able to, put a tamper on her feelings and get everything under control. Does that make sense?
Before Nail is eventually absorbed into her subconscious.
Yes. Pretty much. But they're merged, so I think that's how it works. Not that whole Nail abridged thing, but yeah. But apparently Ryoko does gain like a bigger intelligence boost sometimes with Zero being in her body or something. But pretty much, it goes from there. The Jovian royal family comes to Earth eventually for that one great episode. And pretty much it puts everything on hold because Ryoko cannot put a handle on Ayeka and Sasami's mom, who's named Misaki. And she's very emotional driven and scary. She confused Ryoko for being Sasami at first, and it's very funny. And yeah, Yosho's mom comes. Funaho arrives, and she says, "Yosho, are you gonna get rid of that disguise already? I guess I can hide this from my own mom." He transforms into his original form of Yosho. So really, that old man guise is a disguise. He really does look young and proper and everything.
I had no idea. Also, the thing that I was going to say earlier in the stream video, whatever this is, podcast, was that that I figured out myself was that I was going to say like, why is like this was really back in the beginning where it's like, why is the grandpa forcing Tenchi to be at his place all summer? Mm-hmm. And it's like probably because he's like grooming him to reintegrate with Jiraiyan culture if that's what he wishes. Yes. And my brain was like, why does he just like leave his dad high and dry? And I'm like, oh wait, that's because his dad is who his mother married, and his mother is his grandfather's child. So he's just an in-law.
Oh, I wish that really was the case, Ben.
What? Does he just hate his son? What are you talking about?
Nobuyuki is a distant relative of Yosho.
What happened to Tenchi's dad?
Nobuyuki is Tenchi's dad.
So Tenchi and Yosho are cousins and not grandfather and
No, no,
grandson?
no, 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 no. When I mean distant, I mean very, very distant. Very distant. Like generations distant.
So Tenchi and Yosho aren't related?
No, Tenchi and Yosha are related.
So
Nobuyuki is actually linked to them. Is actually linked to Yosho because in his family lineage, he is part Jamayan. Nobuyuki actually does not look like that. Apparently, that's also a disguise.
my brain hurts.
I know. I'm so sorry. Nobuyuki is a
Also,
distant.
this ruins my follow-up joke.
Okay, what was your follow up joke?
I don't know. Should you finish your tangent on what you were saying?
Okay, pretty much all you need to know: the Masaki lineage, due to their long life, they have to eventually leave Earth. Some go to they eventually go to space, and yeah, some go to the GXP, some go to Jawai to have like various jobs, and some don't really come back to Earth for a couple of generations.
Is that it?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, and you were talking about how Ayaka's mom, like parents, come to Earth.
Yes.
My follow-up joke was, "Okay, attention, I'm leaving for Jupiter." Grandpa, I don't like your in-laws. What makes you think I like mine? Of course, that's not how any of that works anymore because everyone's fucking related.
Somehow,
Son of a bitch!
somehow, some way, yes. Um.
Like
Oh
fucking
God.
Once Upon a Time up in this piece.
Yes. So, pretty much, Funaho is the first queen of Jawai. She is married to. Yep. Funaho is the first queen of Jawai, but she's an Earthling.
What?
Funaho, Yosho's mother, is a Earthling. She is not Jamayan. She's an Earthling.
Shouldn't she be dead then?
Apparently, she. There's like a lot of stuff about Jawai which is beneficial at times. They got like
If you live in Jirai, you become immortal. It is the fucking whatever the hell from Tolkien. What was that place called? It was not the Shimmering Isles. That's fucking. I think it's called the Greylands. I don't remember.
how does it go? Azusa actually meets Funaho like a long time ago in the past, like when Japan was like had like legends of Susanoo or whatever. I believe that's was supposed to be I believe actually Azusa is actually Susanoo in a way because that's how the story began, ironically enough. It's weird, I know. So
They're just
Azusa,
called the Undying Lands.
huh?
In Lord of the Rings, they're just called the Undying Lands.
10-4. But pretty much, Azusa comes to Earth one day because he's training, and he somehow winds up in the care of Funaho and her family, and Korna goes off from there.
Sorry, what did you just say?
I'm talking about Tenchi's great grandparents, Yosho's mother.
Okay, so there's great grandparents.
No, I mean Yosho. Okay, Yosho, Ayeka and Sasami's brother. He has a mom named Funaho.
And that's Tenchi's great grandma?
Tenchi, yes, that is his great grandmother. Yes.
Is that because he just calls Yosho grandpa, or is that actually his great grandmother?
No, that's his great grandmother because Yosho because Funaho is Yosho's mother. Yosho has two daughters. One of the daughters marries Nobuyuki. Nobuyuki has two kids. Tenchi has an older sister named Tenyo, and then he has Tenchi.
How come Tenya doesn't have to hang out with Grandpa?
Hmm?
How come Tenya doesn't have to hang out with Grandpa?
Because she apparently is like almost 80 years old and looks like she's like in her like late 20s, and she hangs out in space and she works with the GXP.
That explains quite a bit. That pop can fell over at perfectly the right time.
She was older than Tenchi when he was born, and she looks like exactly like her mom, which is kind of weird. I wish they didn't do that.
I mean, most siblings that were born before you're older than you when you're born.
Yeah, so it's
But
like
most usually they're not old enough to be your mom or your grandmother.
mom in this case. So Tenchi has an older sibling named Tenyo, and she pretty much pieced out before Tenchi. I mean, she pieced out before he became self-conscious.
Well, peace out. I'm gonna go join the space cops. If you bring the space taxman back here, I will disown you.
Something like that. So pretty much they have to keep this shit secret from Tenchi due to the whole uncivilized civilization and the fact that Yosho has been declared missing for like a long time now.
Dodging taxes.
In the grand scheme of things. So once it's revealed Yosho is alive and has some kids and a family, it's going to be a big political aspect in the Galaxy
Going to Jupiter.
Federation. Yes, but yeah, I mean, I could explain. I can't explain because we're an hour in, and I don't want to make this longer than it should be. Um, I probably will just talk to Ben about this randomly and just give him the information. But pretty much all you need to know: one, Tenchi is technically God in a way. He will become a powerful being one day that will be an omnipotent being of great power in the universe. Two,
Okay, I don't know how we got here, but
well,
okay.
I'm trying to give the abridged version because we have been an hour long, a very hour in, and I can't keep this going because there's like too much. I could divide it into two parts or something. We'll see. I don't know.
All right.
But pretty much, dude, Tenchi's power is unique. He can create his own Lighthawk wings only if he's in danger. But one day he will become a very powerful being. I'm not sure what it is, but he will be. Two. Okay, two. Well, actually, I will have to divide this into just like characters. I probably have to divide this into characters and everything, maybe. Pretty much, there is a total of five seasons to the Tenchi Ryo-Ohki story, which are good. The last three seasons, though, they're not really action oriented. They're just taught exposition. Tenchi Ryo-Ohki is that main canon of the Tenchi Muyo franchise. Two, there is a character that does come in the third season that's like Kione but isn't. Her character name is Noike, and I will explain who she is next time. But pretty much, eventually, Tenchi will somehow, some way, marry all these girls as his wives. Any questions?
I'm still stuck on the Tenchi becoming some sort of omnipotent being thing, and also comparing that to the ending of spoiler alert, Bloodborne. And then I just tried to Google Tenchi Muyo Bloodborne fan art, which also does not exist. There's no Back to the Future fan art. There's just that one thing for Star Wars, and I'm having trouble finding any sort of Ranma crossover fan art. So I am disappointed in the internet.
Roger. But this is the first part. I guess I will do another follow up video detailing the characters themselves. Some characters, not all. But For the most part, how did you like? How did you kind of get what I'm getting at with this series, with this part of the video, Ben?
Yes.
You see,
No.
did I
It's
not?
confusing.
Was I not? Was it too confusing? Did I do too much? I'm sorry.
I don't know. What were you getting at?
Huh?
What was you? Was there? Were we supposed to be trying to accomplish something?
Mm, I was trying to just say. I was trying to. I did too much. Sadly, I was trying to detail like the entire series I watched. I was trying to detail it in this one video, but I can't do it because it's so information, and I'm not good at these kinds of things because I go on tangents and I do specific
I mean, from
characters.
what I remember, Tenchi Muyo, the first half of it is like action. The second half of it is sad. And there's like 4 more seasons where it goes completely off the fucking rails.
3 seasons, but yes, the other series, yes.
Then I got it.
Okay. There's gonna be a follow-up video to this, just detailing like what are the characters and their likes and dislikes and shit, and more detail-oriented characters. So pretty much Tenchi Ryoka Ayaka Sasami, Mahoshi Washu, Noike, Ryo-Ohki, I will explain them in the second part of the video. And maybe that whole nonsense with how the fuck did the Masaki lineage begin, and why the fuck and why the fuck did it truly begin with Azusa and Funaho. And just so you know, Yosho's dad. Okay, so you know Yosho, Ayaka, and Sasami are siblings, right?
What?
They're siblings.
Ayaka and Sasame?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so they're a dad. They share a dad, but they're technically really half siblings.
of course. It's more complicated.
Yes. So pretty much before to end it, Azusa, Yosho, Ayaka, and Sasami's dad has 2 wives. The first one is who he married. Is who he married. I guess no. He officially wanted to marry her first to make her the first Empress of July, Funaho Masaki. That's the mother. She became the mother to Yosho. And then Azusa then had a second wife named Misaki Masaki, and she actually is the daughter of Seto. Oh god, I can't even explain her yet. No, no, that's getting too complicated. Pretty much, he has 2 wives, and they gave him kids. That's how that starts.
2 wives that both own half of him. Um,
Yes,
he has 2 wives, the political one and the mistress.
actually, well, she is the second Empress of July, and they're known as a unit. So
Oh, never mind.
yeah, it's pretty much legit. Funaho and Misaki are the queens of July. The first is Funaho, the second is Misaki, but she's fine with
Eh,
it. Okay. I will do some rereading just to make sure I have everything on point before I tackle the characters specifically. But it'll just be particularly be the main cast that we know and love. So I'm gonna end this because I am totally kicking my ass for like ever doing this, and I might just scrap this. I don't know. I don't want to post it. It's too long. I really feel like I need to be better with this. So it'll do the next video, which you will not know from this video. This is gonna be the one I post on YouTube will be the official one. This was a practice, and I have to really work on the whole not rambling so much.
but I made so many good jokes.
I can post. Do you want me to post? I can post it, but I'll just say that this is gonna be like first part, and that's it.
Maybe I'm emotionally invested in the character arc that I took Tenchi's grandpa on in this video, and how
Okay.
he started out as this sort of like negligent grandpa, and then as it went on, he was like hoping Tenchi would die for some reason. And then in the end, it was revealed that his entire reason for being on Earth was so that he didn't have to deal with political bullshit. And the moment political bullshit became back to Earth, he's like, I'm moving to fucking Jupiter. Fuck all of you. And I'm taking my tree with me.
Okay, I'll post it. I'll post it. But this is gonna be a part one, just a start of the Tenchi Muyo thing. That's all I'm gonna call it. The next video, the next video will be more character specifics and their likes, and who are these characters, and why do they act the way they do, and all that shit. And I'll have Ben back on for it, of course.
Sweet.
So, if you made it this far, which I truly doubt you did, because I only watches this for like 11 minutes, so fuck you. But thank you. But fuck you, really. This is long. I do my best, damn it. I'm not good. This is why I'm not good with YouTube shit. Hope you enjoyed
This
it.
is how you learn.
Yes, but pretty much, I'll say this: Tenchi Muyo OVA, great series. I love it, even though as complicated as it is, because this information is a lot, and you're not, and you can't really go. You can go into this series as is, but be aware. You shouldn't ever power scale anything in this series. Power scaling sucks. Don't do it. It really will break your mind. Really. And the fact that Jorians are everlasting and powerful, technically, because of their technology and whatever fucking shit they got going on, which I will explain, which is actually linked to fucking Tsunami. Tsunami. Whatever. So,
Molly.
so I hope you are looking forward to it. Thank you, Ben, for the interesting, colorful commentary. Yeah, and I am Jeff, and I am very, very wired, and I will see you next time.